Okay, hey everyone, it's Mex. I'm doing the TFT 9.14 patch notes. I think TFT, the ranked is out on Korea, but apparently it's not out for NA. The first thing, TF got released, which is really nice for pirates, and it leads into sorcerers. So now, when you go pirates early game, you have more outs. It says TF throws a card that randomly stuns, deals damage red, and restores mana. I played with him a little bit on PvE, but I didn't go pirates a whole lot, so I didn't see a whole lot of what he did. Oh yeah. TeamFightTactics ranked beta season starts in 9.14 if you want to learn more about rank system. This definitely makes pirates a lot more consistent. So probably either nerf the gold or, I don't know, nerf Graves, because Graves is probably the best unit in pirates. Or maybe Pike, but Pike already got hit. But we'll probably see Pike in here too. Oh god, math. Okay. Attack speed changes. We've changed all champions' attack speed ratios so that attack speed bonuses are now calculated on a percent of the champion's base attack speed. Oh! Okay. So, most champions don't have more than 1 attack speed. I think Kale is the only champion with higher attack speed than 1. So most champions lose out from this. So we receive less benefit from attack speed items. Attack speed items are going to be worse now. Certain champions and attack speed guaranteed items have been adjusted in this patch to compensate. Hopefully some math comes out on this pretty soon. On like what the breaking point is for attack speed, because it looks like because I think most champions are like anywhere between 0.5 or 5, like 5.5 and 7. So I wonder where the breaking point is for attack speed to actually be better, because I think Kale's the only champion that likes this, but we'll see what changes actually end up happening. In the event that you do not get an item in the PvE round, one of the minions monsters, epic monsters, will drop gold instead. Oh, that sounds... I guess that's okay. Okay, so I guess the 0 item Andes are now 1 item or gold Andes. The ranked pre-made party size now limited to 3 players instead of 5. It still feels like going in with parties is the best. It feels abusable, but I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just playing as much solo queue as possible. Level break points 9 goes down. This is a really small change, but I want to see more level 9s because big comps are always more interesting. Ability targeting. Abilities target low health champions. Now determine lowest health by HP percentage instead of total HP. I guess it's a nerf to assassins. What are the characters? The characters that that have the lowest health targeting are like Evelyn and Rengar. I'm not sure what the other characters are, but I think this is a small nerf to assassins. And when you reroll your shop after leveling around from XP, shop is rolled at your new level. Is this this might be a bug. I'm hoping to see a ton of bug fixes in this patch, because there's a lot of problems with tons of stuff in this game, and ranked's coming out, so obviously I'm hoping that a lot of this patch is just bug fixes. Streak indicator next to gold total, it displays your current streak win or loss. Added a total recap so you can see how much damage each champion deals each round. This is probably the best change that I'm going to see in this patch. Is that it makes it so easy to gain information. You can watch other people's fights and gain information from watching their fights, because now there's less requirement to watch your own battle, because you can see really obviously who's consistently doing the most damage. Champion stats, attack damage. Yeah, okay, this is really, really nice. The user interface is really good. Demon got nerfed at rank 1. But I think this is fine, because Demon shouldn't be doing 40% when you just have 2. You can do that at the very beginning of combat, and 60 to 50 is not so huge. I think this nerf is perfectly fine. Elementalist, Golem health down 500, attack damage down 100. So when they nerf Elementals like this, I want them to buff the Elementalist units. I want them to either like buff Kennen or buff Lysandra, because Lysandra's damage is so bad, and if you're ever like teching into Elementalist, you normally have like Brand for Demon or Kennen for Ninjas, and having to go Lysandra and then having the Golem get nerfed makes Elementalist feel so bad. Guardian stacks up to 2 times. This is really nice. It makes Guardian a much better tech option against things like Noble, against AD carry and AD comps that focus mostly on AD damage. I can go off of a level up and move out one unit from an early game comp and move into Guardian, which is really, really nice. I like this buff a lot. I'll probably use Guardian a lot more often if it can stack twice and give me 80 armor. Gunslinger, AoE attacks, fix some bugs where Gunslinger's extra autos could fail to fire at higher attack speeds. Extra units hit 1 to all, 1 to 2. Oh, stacks any number of times, right. Oh, okay. Oh, this is awesome. This can give me hundreds of armor then. Oh, this is really, really nice. But there's still only 2 Guardian champs. Oh, okay. Well, oh, this is really strange. I have to think about this, because now you would like put in 2 Leonas. 2 Leonas, like 2 Brahms. I never see why you would do 2 Brahms, but like 2 Leonas, for example, if you have something like Noble, but I'm not sure how exactly this would work. And Pirate's getting nerfed because it's more accessible now, so average gold from 2 to 1.6, this looks fine. You're probably going to get Pirates a lot more often than you did before TF was added to the game, so... Shapeshifter's not getting the correct amount of health when they transform previously. I wasn't aware of this bug, but transform health... I would much rather them make the condition of getting the transform harder to get than to just nerf the health gain. Like, if you have Shapeshifters... Jesus. If you have Shapeshifters already, like you have all of these units, you're taking units that are... I assume, yeah, Elise got nerfed in here. The units are going to be a little bit worse on average, except for like Gnar and Swain. But Gnar and Swain can already function in comps by themselves. So I would have liked it a lot more if you made like the mana requirement or like mana generation more difficult to get, because when you get the transform and you already have Shapeshifters, it should feel like, unless the enemy comp is like a lot faster than you or has like an infinite, that you should be able to win. I'll have to feel out like the 60%, but I don't like the general direction it's going of just like taking the numbers down instead of taking like you can play around getting the requirement a lot easier than play around like now I just have less numbers to work with. And attack speed goes up on wild. This is nice. So wild, knights, and I get like demons still probably. It's just wild knights and gunslinger are gonna be best early game classes, and noble, I guess. But we'll see. There's a lot more stuff in here. Darius no longer casts his ability at times. I hope this fixes for a lot of characters. No longer casts his ability at times, so no enemies would be in range of the cast. Elise, who was down for 1 cost, but she got nerfed. Spiderling's not benefit from the demon origin. Mana cost goes up to 100. Yeah, on PvE she was 1 cost, but she still had the 75 mana, and I think she still had 2 Spiderlings level 1. Her health goes down to 450 and armor goes down to 20. I think this is fine. Elise was pretty unhealthy. You would get level 2 Elise, and then you could go into so many different demons and get 4 demon really early on, and it didn't feel fair. Just grabbing Fiora whenever you saw it, no matter what your comp was. Fiora attack speed going up to 1, which is nice because that hits the threshold for the attack speed change. So Fiora's going to like possibly putting items on Fiora might be able to work out. And the damage, I assume this is on her ability, on Riposte, or maybe it's... Yeah, this must be on her Riposte, but it doesn't give me all 3 levels. I don't know why you couldn't just put all 3 levels into this, because there's only like 1 number in between this. Graves health 500 to 450. Yeah, I said when pirates become more accessible, you should probably nerf the units, so Graves nerf coming in, 58 health. Vayne attack speed going up, which is nice to compensate for the attack speed changes. And Warwick now gets on-hit effects, so that doesn't matter. Nice. Okay, fixed a bug where R's ability wouldn't deal damage while she was dead. I wasn't aware of this bug either, but I'm glad to see a lot of bug fixes in this because rank's coming out, and I want the game to function pretty reliably. Now retargets her ability if the target dies during her cast time. This is nice. Ari's AI looks a lot better. This probably suggests that the AI is a lot better at aiming. Ability targeting random enemy, current attack target. Yeah, I noticed this, though, that Ari would almost always, attack a different target than the one she was auto-attacking. But this says now it should attack the same thing. Fixed a bug where Blitz could hook a unit off the board if you died while casting. This is a super unhealthy bug that I encountered a bunch. Right when I killed Blitzcrank, he would hook, and then my full health unit or like my crazy 3-star unit would just fly off the board. Nearby allies more likely to target the... Oh, this is great too. This makes Blitzcrank function more like you imagine he should, where you put Blitzcrank in your backline or you position him against the comp that you think is going to beat you, and then you pull the back square, and then your whole team dogpiles him and kills him right away. Even though Blitzcrank isn't a very strong unit in himself, he basically trades 1 for 1, and the trade can often go up. And even if, let's say Blitzcrank lives, maybe he can pull again. So Blitzcrank was a nice tech option for people who had stuff like, well, for example, Protected Draven comps, or if they just had an early game powerhouse or something with a lot of items that if your whole team could attack it, it would be able, you would be able to kill it early on. So I like this a lot. I like Blitzcrank. I think Blitzcrank is really nice. Fix Brahm's tooltip to properly reflect that his shield reduces a percentage. Ooh, this looks like a buff. Damage reduction 60 to 90%, 70 to 90%. This is really nice because Guardian got buffed, so I'm going to look into Brahm a little bit more. Mana cost down to 50. This is really nice. Oh, and stuff like Redemption could be really good on Brahm. 50 mana. Using his ability really early on could be nice. Ability targeting nearest enemy, furthest enemy. This is really cool. Okay, I'm happy about this change a lot. I'll see if Braum is as good as this makes him look, but I mean his stats still look pretty bad. So if this actually does make Braum good, Guardian will be a really nice tech option for late game, or for basically mid game into late game. Lucian Relentless Pursuit second shot damage goes up by oh my god, this is insane. He gets 100 damage every dash. So Lucian gets like 400 or 500 damage on average every fight. Probably like maybe like closer to 300 or 400. But like level 2 Lucian gets an extra 100 damage on every dash. This is really, really nice. But Gunslinger's got nerfed. But I think this just makes Lucian a really nice unit. And he's noble as well, so he plays in the early game stuff, and you can get him before combat even starts. And now he just does 150. He does the rank 2 damage at rank 1. This is really, really nice for Lucian. Pike did get nerfed. Another Pirate getting nerfed as Pirate becomes more reliable. Mana cost goes from 100 to 125, and the starting mana goes down to 75. Now, if I remember correctly, Pike originally he spawned with 75 out of 100 mana, and then they changed it. I'm not sure if they changed it to... Did they change it to 50? Yeah, right. They changed it to 50 out of 100, and now they're moving up to 75 out of 125. So what this means is that after his first cast, it's much harder for him to get another cast off. And I like this a lot. I think Pike should basically almost be guaranteed his first cast, but his second cast should be on condition. He should have items, or he should be ahead in stars to be able to get that second or third cast off. But the first one he should be able to get for the reason you buy Pike. Rek'Sai Bro duration 1.5 to 1. Knockup duration 1.25 to 1.75. I don't think this helps Rek'Sai. I think Rek'Sai is still in a really bad spot, and it doesn't really make sense to buy Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is a bad unit with bad tags. Shen starting mana 50 to 100, and I think Shen's ability is 125, so this is nice for Shen. Ninjas aren't terrible, it's just that Shen is a really bad unit, and Blade Master is hard to go into. So this might be able to work out for Shen. Atrox, mana cost 100 to 75. Atrox got nerfed. I was expecting to see this because I felt that Atrox was way too strong. His ability at level 2, it went from 400 to I believe it was 700 and then 1,000. And the 700 was just so insane. You would play against other tier 2 units, and if just like a single auto landed on them, Atrox's Q would be able to kill them. So Atrox would just run through 3 and 4 units, and you didn't even need synergy. You would just buy Atrox. Oh, it's a buff? What do you mean? Oh, this was on PBE? Oh my god, I've been playing on PBE. Atrox is so insane right now. Oh my god, this was the buff? Oh, I read it backwards. That's okay. This is insane. No. This can't be right. Oh, it doesn't make sense. No. Atrox is too strong. No. Atrox is way too strong. No, I've been playing on PBE the whole time. And it was this 400, 700, 1,000. No. It's way too strong. You don't need synergy. If you just buy Atrox, he will run through like 4 and 5 people. It's really, really not fair. I don't feel like this mana cost matters at all. I've never seen my Atrox die without getting his Q off. It's really insane. Oh, I read this backwards because I was expecting him to get nerfed. Because I was playing with Atrox, and even when I had no synergy on him, it felt so insane. So I was like, well, in these patch notes, I'm sure Atrox would just get taken down. But no, apparently... It's just what it was. So, Evelyn got buffed by 50. Execute threshold 50% to 65%. Execute damage multiplier. This is a nice buff to Evelyn. And as well as Demon getting nerfed early, Evelyn can move into... when you tech into 4 Demon later on in the game, Evelyn's nice. I'm not sure if the 50 health actually makes a difference, though, but this is nice, the 65%. If you can just put a mana item on her. The hardest thing is getting her to ult, but now roots target duration during the cast time to prevent them from moving out of the area of effect. Yeah, this is all fine. I think this is fine for Evelyn. Gangplank ability now applies on hit effects, fix a number of bugs with animations and barrel change. I noticed that GP on PBE now can miss, and his animation is a lot slower. it feels like GP got nerfed, even though this attack speed buff, I don't think this attack speed buff actually matters. This might still be a nerf because how his barrels apply now, but he gets get an HP buff, so. Level 1 GP is still pretty bad. Level 2 GP, it looks usable though. Level 2 GP, whenever I have it, it seems to top my damage charts. But level 1 GP looks pretty bad right now. Fixed a bug where her ability wasn't properly preventing enemy healing. Katarina is a pretty weak assassin right now. When she ults, she's very strong, but it looks very, very hard to get her to ult. She basically needs a mana item to be able to ult, or she needs level 2 to be able to ult. Here's a Kennen buff, because Elementalist got nerfed. I was expecting a Kennen buff and maybe a Lissandra buff as well, but we're into 3 stars, so I guess there's no Lissandra buff. Lissandra is going to be stuck where she is. So the damage on Kennen's ult goes from 300 to 660 to 400 to 900, and his AD goes up, which is important because if you're going Elementalist, Kennen is probably your only ninja. And I mean, if you're playing Kennen in the first place without ninjas, it's probably your only ninja. So 60 to 70 is bigger than it seems because of the ninja buff giving him a lot of extra AD. So this is a nice Kennen buff as well. No longer cast her ability at times where no enemies would be in range at the start of the cast. This lots of characters have this bug. Morgana's damage going up a lot is also important. Demon 4 still looks really strong as you see all these demons getting buffed. Evelyn, Morgana, and Atrox getting buffed. Demon 4 is going to look like something that you can just build to anyway, regardless of the nerf. But Demon 2 looks a lot weaker. Poppy, armor 30 to 40, stun duration goes up. Nice. Well, you're never going to get 3-star Poppy, but 2.5 to 3 is basically what you're going to be playing with. Number of targets hit 2. 1 from 1, 2, 3. I haven't seen Poppy yet, mostly because her tags aren't very good. They're only really good for Yordle, and there's no other Knight Yordle, so you're sort of just stuck with Poppy in the Yordle comp. And I haven't seen what 6 Knights do exactly, but it doesn't look like it's very nice. So Poppy's still probably going to be in a pretty early game category. Like, you're just taking Poppy because she fits into your early game Knights, or because she's like the strongest unit that you can pick up for 3. Rengar Savagery's attack speed buff is now multiplicative. It increases Rengar's attack speed ratio. I'm not sure if this actually matters at all, and Rengar's on the weaker side. And I think the targeting nerf for the low HP things affects Rengar as well. Rengar and Evelyn, I think, were the assassins that got targeted by that. But there might be more characters who get affected by that targeting, the targeting change. Shyvana's attack speed goes from 0.65 to 7, probably because of the attack speed change. And she gains 100 HP and gains bonus attack damage while in Dragon. This is nice because Shapeshifters got nerfed. Now, initially when Shapeshifters get nerfed, I'm thinking, why would I pick Shyvana? Because then I would only go like Wild, Elise for Demon, but now Elise is really nerfed. So it's like, well, I'm going Gnar and Swain because those are the better units. But if Shyvana gets buffed, maybe she's usable without putting all the items on her, because right now you have this like crazy item combination where you go like Hextech Gunblade, Thornmail, and I think it's like Phantom Dancer or Warmogs, and you have this unkillable Shyvana who can't take magic damage, can't get crit, and heals an insane amount. But because her base stats were pretty bad, it felt like, well, unless I get a lot of Shyvana, why am I even putting her on the board? It was basically for attack. But I like this buff. Veigar damage to lower star champions goes from 9,999 to 19,999. Very nice buff to Veigar. He'll get them now. All right, mana cost 85 to 75. Yordles are still pretty hard to make work. The 85 to 75 doesn't really change anything. Veigar's still going to be basically trading 1-for-1 with a bunch of different units. Similar to how Blitzcrank is, but worse. What?
Did they do this so he can kill even Dragon's Tooth units?
Oh, I guess so. Oh, maybe it passes Dragon's Tooth now. Yeah, because 9,000 wasn't enough. All right. Volibear's health, Build-A-Bear, went from 650 to 700. Attack speed, 0.55 to 0.65 because of the attack speed change. Mana cost down to 75. This is nice. Lightning attack damage ratio. And his lightning attacks also apply on-hit effects. So if you go Glacial and you get the Build-A-Bear, you put the items on him, he can actually chain Glacial stun entire comps. I've been a victim to this time and time again of the Volibear comps. But I've always come out on top later in the game. But If I can see a Volibear comp actually scale or actually move out of Volibear later on for a different carry, maybe Volibear could be something that I pick up as like a mid-game carry or even an early-game carry, and then I switch out of later. But right now I haven't seen a whole lot of success with Volibear. I've just been frustrated when it beats me. I like certain stages of the game. This is nice, the attack damage ratio. Akali fixed a number of bugs that would sometimes cause her ability to not deal damage. Akali has a bunch of bugs. I'm not sure if they fixed the other bug, where sometimes she would just stand still. But yeah, I've seen her Q do 0. I've seen her not attack anything and stand still for the entire match. No longer cast her abilities at times with no enemies. I've seen her miss her Q a bunch of times, but a bunch of characters have this bug. Brand's mana cost goes up. I'm confused by this. I'm not. I don't think I like it. I don't see how I'm gonna go Elementalist anymore. I mean, Brand's still fine for Demon. Brand's still a fine pickup, and especially level 2 Brand's still fine for Demon. But I just don't see why I'm gonna go Elementalist when the Golem gets nerfed. Kennen barely really gets buffed, and then Brand gets nerfed. Lissandra's a terrible unit. I don't see why I'm going to take Brand for Elementalist when I could just take him for Demon and then ignore Kennen and Lissandra. It seems like a much better option. Cho'gath takes a really small nerf, which is important because when Cho'gath had 1100 HP, I found that I really only got Rupture off when I had either Brawler bonus or I had like a Giant's build on him. So only when he got to like this 400 HP 1400 HP range was I even able to get his Q off. So bringing him to 1000 HP even from just 1100 is a pretty big change, and it probably changes a decent percent of the time whether or not he gets his ability off. And then his ability get nerfed. It did as well. Yeah, the knockup gets nerfed by a quarter second. Draven's attack speed goes down, actually. Draven's attack speed goes down from 0.85 to 0.75 with the attack speed nerf as well. So nerf to Imperials also makes me question why I'm taking Katarina ever if Draven's going to be less of an option. Gnar also gets nerfed. This is really, really scary for Shapeshifters. Gnar's health goes down from 850 to 750. And armor goes down from 35 to 30. Gnar was a unit that even without Shapeshifters could operate in a lot of comps. But if you make Gnar so that he can't operate in those comps and relies on Shapeshifter, and then you nerf Shapeshifter, now Gnar becomes a target that I don't think I would want to take Gnar, because now it seems like he's weak to a lot of things that would burn him early on. It seems like he's really weak to Demon, because if he gets mana burned once, how is he going to transform? It feels like there's a lot of ways to kill Gnar now without him transforming, that even with Shapeshifters, it's going to look a lot harder. You're going to have to play around better positioning, or you're going to have to give him items to get him to reliably transform. But we'll basically have to see. I'll have to play against him a lot more. But because of stuff like this, I don't like the Shapeshifter nerf. I think if you're going to nerf Gnar like this, you should reward him for actually completing the transform and give him the full Shapeshifter bonus. Because if you're going to make it this hard to transform, why is the Shapeshifter bonus nerfed? Leona mana cost from 150 to 100. I don't know what mana she spawns in with, but she spawns in with 75. This is a really nice buff. And again, to Guardian becomes much better because Braum is not so terrible anymore. Braum is not as garbage, and Leona's a pretty nice unit, and now Guardian stacks however many times you want it to, so you can get basically as much armor as you want if you put in bonus Leonas, and she's a nice CC bot and a frontliner. Sejuani gets nerfed. 3 to 2 on rank 1 and 4 to 3.5, realistically 4 to 3.5. So the nerf isn't that big. It's the same at level 5. Who's ever had a rank 3 Sejuani? Alright. Tier 5 champions. Anivia's ability no longer cancels when she dies. Anivia's Elementalist, but it's not reliable to really go for Anivia for Elementalist unless you're doing it pretty late in the game. But in that case, if you have Brand and you're thinking about going Elementalist, you still have to pick between the Kennen, who's not very strong, and the Anivia. And a lot of times by that point, you want to already have something like Akali, because Akali's one of the strongest units on her own, even if you don't have like Assassin bonus, even if you don't have anything really to even jump in the backline. I've seen Akalis with no synergy jump to the backline, kill 3 different characters. It feels like it's going to be really hard to get the pieces for Elementalist, even if Anivia is buffed here, and it's not really reliable to go for it. So I don't think this change is very good. But it's a buff to Glacial. If you're already going Glacial, then Anivia getting that extra damage and being that extra Glacial buff is very nice for you. Misfortune, ability targeting random enemy to current attack target. This is really nice. Random enemy seems kind of strange. Now retargets her ability if the target dies during the wind-up. Also nice. You don't want to ult the dead target. Nice, MF. MF's going from silver to platinum here. Fixed a bug where MS Fortune would sometimes move and change your ult's trajectory while channeling. That's that's a crazy bug. All right. Where she would, I've actually never seen this, but there's probably a hilarious video of MF like moving forward on the hexagons while her ult's channeling. And her mana cost goes from 75 to 120. Oh, was there a... Oh, okay. Oh, man, someone's got to close the door. All right. 75 to 100 mana. I think it's 125 for MF. So this is really nice as well. Maybe it's 150. But either way, but like MF with Gunslinger is probably going to get her ult off almost every time. When you position her in the back, it's looking really nice for MF. When you get her, it's just a really nice power spike. It feels really nice to add MF to your comp. Ability now applies on hit effects. I wonder what this means exactly for Yasuo. If like stuff like Cursed Blade or like Titanic Hydra could be good on him. Knockup duration goes up to 1.5 from 1.25, and the damage goes up by 100 at rank 2. So rank 2 Yasuo looks pretty nice if you can get to rank 2 Yasuo. Ability now applies on hit effects is really interesting for someone like Yasuo because of how often he can use his ability. Right. And he's also Blade Master. He has Blade Master and he has the Yasuo passive. So there's a lot of stuff you could do. You could probably change Yasuo's class, is what I'm thinking. Something like Glacial, for example. Glacial, for example, Demon Yasuo. Or if it applies on hit effects, does that mean it can crit? If it can crit, you could also make Assassin Yasuo. They apply an on hit effects and gain the extra 100 damage at rank 2 is pretty nice. Okay, so moving on to items. Items no longer benefit from ability power. I didn't know about this. I don't even know what that means. Solari got AP? But, I mean, did stuff like Titanic Hydra get bonus damage? I'm not sure exactly to what extent. Yeah. But apparently Locket was getting a lot of bonus shielding. Ludens, too. That's the Ludens fix for Ludens for Akali. So there's no Exodia anymore for Akali. You get the 5 rods and a tier, and then the game ends. Spatula now doubles the stat power of its sister component. This is on PvE right now. I noticed this. For example, Yumu's Ghostblade grants 40 attack damage, Demon grants 40 mana, and so on. Cursed Blade can now reduce targets to 0 stars. Never seen this before. I think this is actually new. Fixed a bug where Cursed Blade would reset an enemy's champion level if it triggered a second time. I've seen this before. I've seen my character go to 1 star and then back to 2 stars, and I thought it just had a low or an inconsistent nerf timing. Frozen Heart's effect now applies more consistently to any unit near the wearer. I've seen I know about this bug as well. There's a lot of item bugs that I think are going to fix now. Guardian Angel is actually a really consistent item I've seen being used on a bunch of different characters who can get their abilities off multiple times. Champions like Atrox, champions like Morgana. It's probably usable on many more champions than I've used it on, but I've seen GA almost always make a big impact in fights where it's relatively close. Rageblade goes back from 3 to 4 because of the attack speed change, so 3 to 4 is pretty nice. Hextech Gunblade has a bunch of weird interactions. Fixed a bug where Spellvamp was sometimes not properly granted. No longer benefits from item damage. Shyvana with Thornmail. Okay. Yeah. That's the crazy item combination. Ionic Spark now deals true damage instead of magic damage, which is really nice. Fixed a bug where Ionic Spark was applying 75 instead of 200. It does 200 and it also does true damage, so there's a lot of comps that you can play against where Ionic Spark will end up doing thousands of damage to enemy comps. Like just putting its rod and a cloak on one of your either tanky characters or one of your backline characters, this item can do like 2,000, 3,000 damage because the enemy team comp is always using abilities. It can just kill Lucian. It can just kill Akali. It can just kill Yasuo. It does so much damage against certain comps, and it's a nice tech item later on when you're trying to play against a specific player. Now, it shields the wearer and the champion 2 spaces to left and right. This is on PvE as well. It just, you get more shield, and you lose out on the number of the shield value, because now you can only shield 5 people, I believe. But before you could shield like 7 or 8. And you also have to compromise your positioning in some cases where you want a ball, but now you have to go into a line. So Locket becomes a little bit weaker, but I think it's good. I think Locket stacking was a little bit unhealthy. It felt a little bit unfair to... It felt like items really decided the game when you had Locket scaling. Luden's Echo fixed a bug where, Luden's Echo fixed a bug where Ludens would proc on basic attack hits but not on ability hits. Primary target damage 100 to 200. AoE 1 okay. So Ludens is back to normal. Ludens should do what it says now. Okay. Alright, Morel Namicon max HP damage per second goes from 2.5% to 3%. This is really nice. I like Morel Namicon on a lot of different characters. And it's really nice against a lot of different healing comps or characters that have a lot of sustain. Rapid Fire Cannon now updates in response to range changes. Right, okay, I think this is the biggest one, is that Rapid Fire Cannon in Italy can no longer solo your entire team from the opposite side of the map. Recurve Bow goes up because of the attack speed change, and Redemption becomes a sort of coin flippy item, but that can change a lot of fights, because when your whole team goes to low HP, Redemption can bring them all back up to full, but that also means that a lot of your characters will probably risk dying right before Redemption goes off, and then you miss it. But I like this change, and against certain comps it does actually work because of how slowly some of your frontline characters end up dying. Runin's Hurricane gets changed from 2 bolts to 1 bolt, bolt damage 50% to 25, and now applies on hit effects. I think this is probably a big buff, because now it applies on hit effects, so it's going to apply Titanic Hydra. It probably implies stuff like Gunsu's Rage Blade too. It applies Curse Blade, probably like Hush, Disarm. It just hits 2 now, and the damage isn't so much, but now it's a combination item. So it's going to be something that you put on a specific character against a specific comp because of the on-hit effects. But it's a good combination item. I like this change a lot. It makes the game more about your decisions. Runin's Hurricane can look really, really nice in certain comps against certain comps. It's really situational, but this change should reward you a lot when you make the right decision at the right time. Saris Embrace fixed a bug where Saris effect wouldn't stack. Okay. I've never seen Saris look good on like any character. Even Lucian, where I thought it would look really good, then I learned that that all the characters have mana locks for 1 second, so Lucian can't even like spam his dash. So like on a Kali, it's okay, but you don't really want to put that item on her because so many other items are so good on her. So you don't really want Saris on her. And other characters like really just like the item because it gives them 40 mana and for no other reason, and because it's only 2 tiers. Static Shiv I saw in PvE, and I think it was bugged on PvE because it looked like it was hitting every unit. Now always hits 3 additional targets rather than all champions in a frontal clone. Right. Now only activates a maximum of 1 time per launch attack. Okay. Yeah. So I think it was. Now it doesn't stack. Does this mean it doesn't stack anymore? A maximum of 1 time per launch attack. I think you can't stack Static Shiv anymore, and it also hits a finite number of targets. Thornmail, 30% of physical damage taken to 100% of physical damage mitigated. Oh, okay. It doesn't reflect anymore. Okay, damage type. Oh, wait. Damage type, magic damage to true damage? Mitigated. Wait, am I reading this wrong? 100% of physical damage mitigated, but then it says the damage type changed? I don't understand. It still deal. Wait, where am I? Oh, okay. So when you just get the armor, and then the amount of damage that you stopped is now the damage, and it does true damage. Okay, I'm not sure what this means. This is another math question where you need the armor for the breaking point, and then the damage for the breaking point to see if it's better. Warmog's 3% max HP to 6% missing HP looks really nice. This was on Shyvana on PvE, and she was going really, really low with Hextech and Thornmail and Warmog's, and then scaling back up as she got lower because of her missing HP being really, really high. Zeke's Herald is the same as Solari. It gets buffed, but you lose the amount of targets that you can target with it, and you also have to compromise your positioning in some circumstances. So I think Zeke's and Solari ended up getting nerfed, but I think that's good. And then bug fixes. I mean, the whole patch was basically bug fixes. So this is some visual stuff. Fixed a bug where champions leveling upon combining from a shared draft selection sometimes duplicated the champion, reconnecting to a TFT game. No longer prevent. Okay, so overall, I didn't really like the Shapeshifter stuff. I think if they're going to nerf Gnar and Elise, and I guess in Italy too with Rapid Fire Cannon, they shouldn't take away the reward for finishing the transform in Shapeshifters. They should just make it harder to get, but I think Shapeshifters got hit really hard. Demons look fine. You just have to get 4. It's just a little bit weaker early game, but once you get the 4 demons, it looks pretty nice. And Atrox is absolutely insane. So insane that I read the patch backwards, thinking that Atrox was actually nerfed, but no, he's just as insane as ever. So, that's about where it stands for now. All right, Elementalist got nerfed as well in a way I didn't really like, because Lissandra's just not very good. If you've seen Lissandra scaling on her ability, I think it goes from 150, then when you get a rank 2, 200, and then when you get a rank 3, when you get 6 more Lissandras, 200 to 250. It's crazy. She really levels up. It's really insane how strong she gets. That 250 damage. She gains a whole 100 damage when you get 8 more Lissandras. So Elementalist getting nerfed, Daisy getting nerfed, and then Brand eventually getting nerfed. Anivia getting buffed doesn't really cover it. Or Kennen getting buffed doesn't really cover it. I think Elementalist got hit pretty hard too. And we'll have to do math on the attack speed changes because we have to figure out what champions really benefit. Because just from reading this, the only thing that immediately pops in my head is that Kael's the only champion that really benefits, but it's going to have to do with items a lot. So, yeah, this stuff will probably get worked out in a few days, so that's about it. Oh, what do I say at the end?
That's it.
Okay, I just end it? Nice.